The correct interpretation of the fruit of the Spirit from Galatians 4. In a nutshell, it's that you keep the covenant, you teach the covenant to your neighbour, and then you receive the spirit of prophecy and you have the knowledge of God. So, we've always taught it that way because that's exactly what the fruit of the Spirit is, because it's in stages. You obey the Spirit of grace, which is conviction to obey the Ten Commandments. That's the starting point, that's the milk. And then, once you're ready, you teach it to other people. You teach what you have been freely given, you freely give it away. That's fruit of the Spirit, that's evidence of the Spirit, because that's the patience of the saints. The royal law, rebuking sin, is the patience of the saints because no one wants to do it, because everyone's a coward in this last generation. And then because you do that, the Messiah says, because you watching means you love your neighbour as yourself. It means you're an Ezekiel 2 and 3 watchman. Because you do that, you receive the meat and due season. Meat and due season is the knowledge of God. In fact, even more specifically, it's the knowledge of prophecy as it's unfolding in real time. Because he doesn't do anything, God doesn't do anything unless he reveals it to his servants, the prophets. So we enter into the work of the prophets of old through the Messiah bringing light to it through to their dark sayings. He brings us light to it, so then we can understand what the prophets of old are saying. We enter into their work, we reap where they sowed, and together we're going to rejoice. So that's the meat and due season. So the hardest fruit of the Spirit to sort of grasp, or to like not understand the idiom, is Galatians 4. But if you read Ephesians 5 and Galatians 6 and John 16 with them, where it also tells you the fruit of the Spirit, it's exactly what we've always taught. You keep the Ten Commandments and you teach others to do so. So you'll see that in John 16. When the Spirit comes, he comes to reprove the world of sin. So when you have the Spirit of truth, you enter into the work that we're supposed to be doing, the servant work, and you rebuke sin through the Holy Spirit. That's being the watchman. And the Messiah says, because you do that, you receive the meat and due season. Galatians 6 actually says that if you don't get weary in well-doing, James 2, if you fulfill the royal law, love your neighbour as yourself, rebuke sin, you will do well. If you continue in that well-doing, you will reap of the Spirit in due season. That's the meat and due season being revealed. It's another way of putting it. Peter puts it that if you continue in the love of God, which means keeping and teaching the covenant to your neighbour and rebuking sin, even though everyone hates you, hello Beatitudes, if you keep doing that, you will never be barren in the knowledge of God. That's why the servants in Revelation understand the prophets. They understand Revelation. It's only written to them because they're the only group of people in the latter days that have the spirit of prophecy. And the reason why they have the spirit of prophecy and the meat and due season, which is the knowledge of the prophecy, is because they watch. They are the watchmen. Ephesians 5 tells you that they reprove the world of their dark deeds. They bring light to it. John 3 tells you that the world hates their darkness being brought to light. How do you bring it to light? You rebuke it. You rebuke their sin. And you hate for it. But because you do it, you receive the meat and due season. So the fruit of the Spirit is that you start obeying God, you start teaching others to obey God, and then you understand prophecy.